Hello and good morning, everyone. Good to see you. Paul Trani here. Going to dive into this new show where we get to show you everything new and happening so you feel updated this week in terms of art and in terms of updates, because there's actually some updates, like lots of news and the fun news, by the way. And yeah, it's going to be good. So I'm so thankful you're here. I see you, Susan and Sean and RB Valder. General Kenobi is here. Wow, okay. Michelle Mercurial. Such cool names here. I'm so happy you're here, and I want to welcome you. So like I mentioned, what's going to happen is we're going to cover sort of like what's new this week in terms of guests. So the guests we have on Adobe Live this week, again, design news that you should care about. Cool. So that would be cool. Any new creative? There's plenty of new creative being pushed out, also by our community. Community spotlight. Speaking of that, so we'll go ahead and highlight somebody from the community, show you some free stuff, dive in into some questions that often get posted to the forums, and also sent to me via all the social medias. So you can see them right over here. Boop, 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 boop. It's the social medias. You can contact me. Felicia, what's up? So good to have you guys here. Again, just want to welcome, of course, the guests that we have this week. So you guys should get excited about them, because I'm excited as I take a look at their work. You can see right in here, we have designers from across various industries. So from illustration to UX, UI, you can see it again right over here. So we have Tyler Pates going to be coming up. You can kind of check out his work. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and click over and look at Tyler's work right in here. And you can find this just literally by Googling his name. But you can see a lot of his work right in here. A lot of Illustrator work, as you can tell. Does work on the Wacom, but does a ton of work basically in Illustrator, as we can see. Look at the Creative Illustrator. The Struggling Artist presents the Creative Illustrator. It's like, how does he do this? It looks very cool, right? Little Wacom, little cup of coffee. Sounds about right. I could always use coffee. So good morning, Jasmine as well. Brett, Fury, what's up? Happy Monday. So this is Tyler's work, and we get to see him, coming up actually today. So that'll be really fun. We can also check out other artists that we have. In fact, let's just kind of click into them. Kat Lowe does work for us. She's actually, I think she's been with us before live, but she does sort of UX, UI work. So we can see right in here sort of this outer space app. I don't know if you guys remember this from Adobe Live, but she has this project posted, which is really cool. So this is interesting, like, being able to not only create UX, UI work, but, throw that into, say, for instance, After Effects is probably what this was done in to get that smooth motion. And maybe it wasn't done in After Effects, by the way. So, yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, Kat Lowe, we get it. You're good. Stop it already. Photography as well, as we can see. You can see Ashley Batts's work, right? She's going to be with us. I'll have to double check the actual schedule, but it might be Thursday and Friday. But obviously she photographs everybody famous. So you can see, I actually don't know this actress's name, but she was in Arrested Development. Scarlett Johansson, of course. But a lot of great work that actually, like, I'm sure she has some great stories behind a lot of these photos, right? Which are so interesting. So again, so happy to have Ashley with us this week. Should be awesome. Cool. Awesome. Michelle, you're learning lots of new things and stuff. That is good. I'm learning new things as I share them with you as well. So we have art director and designer Angela Freya as well. So you can see some of her work. Again, more of this graphic design type look that we have. So again, great art doesn't have to be complex. It just has to, at the very least, sort of get a message across, which I actually love. I'm really into this font. Yeah, stay in, rest up, drink water, let your feelings flow. It's almost perfect, but I'd say also drink coffee. Sorry, I got a moire pattern on my shirt. It's not your eyes. That's my shirt. So, all right. What's up, RB? Come on, people. Say hello. Would love to hear from you, but look at all these awesome people that we have this week. So again, this is going to be a lot of fun, and hopefully you're excited about it as well. Just so you know, specifically, we will have Tyler Pate today, right after the Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge. We'll have Tyler Pate, and then we'll have Kat Lowe or Catherine Lowe today. So those are the two artists that we'll have. It's these two people we'll have today and tomorrow, and then Thursday and Friday we'll have these two people. I see you, boop. Ashley and then Angela as well. Okay, and let's not forget about the Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge we'll have today right after this segment, and then Andrew will be doing the Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge, and then we have Andrea Epi doing XD. So that's what's happening. Oh, Tim, why you gotta be so witty this early in the morning? It's early for me, man. It is early. That's okay, though. Let's go ahead and dive into the news we have for the day. All right, welcome back, everybody. File news. Somebody's being clever. This is the File News Show, or the News Show, whatever you want to call it. But we've had a ton of updates with various brands that you may or may not be aware of. So we have Burger King, for instance, and I posted this on social media, just so you know. But yeah, Burger King updated their logo. I don't know, like, somebody online was like, but the real question is, who eats at Burger King anymore? I was like, oh, so shady, but also kind of funny. So yeah, they updated their logo. I want to kind of share this with you really fast. We'll go ahead and share my screen and dive into this fun little animation that gives you just a good idea of what they're doing with their brand, right? Again, very powerful, right? What do we see right in here? Check this out. Let's go in here. Let's pause it. Boom. Tell me this is not epic. This really needs to be the logo for their brand. How clever is this? Is that okay? Like, again, very clever. Yeah. No shade to Burger King, by the way. I just want to know what you guys think. What do you guys think of this new brand? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Right? The short of it is it does what they want. Because what do they want to do here? They want it to be kind of harken back to so the last logo was like updated in 94. But they just wanted this new logo to be like stable, and I can't find the words right in here. I'm just looking at the whole article. I could post this as well. But yeah, so the whole goal of their new logo is to not necessarily be fresh and exciting, but be stable. It's like, oh, you just want a good burger? Yeah, Burger King. All right, enough with that advertising. I like it. I love the animation. I think, you know, a logo should be like flexible at the very least, right? And that's kind of what it shows. It's like the more simple, the more flexible it can be. This is obviously very trendy. So this is 1994 trendy, is what it feels like to me. So again, that's what's happening in news. But we got 10 more updates. Actually, let me share this with you. I think this is super important, by the way. I want to share this with everyone. This is essentially just a cool post that I did not make, but it's a logo design brief, sort of how would you make a logo? So I'll go ahead and post this to chat as well. But I think this is like super important. It's like, okay, well, it's not whether you like it or don't like it. Does it do its job? So I just posted this to chat. And again, this is all about sort of, you know, what is sort of like understanding a logo design brief. I think this is huge, by the way. It's like, okay, well, what were they trying to do with Burger King, for instance? Were they trying to be young or mature? And so somebody made this. I actually need to pull up their name. Dubai-based logo designer Jefferson Pascal. And by the way, this is not a new post, but it was posted to like a Facebook user group like a year or so ago. So of course it didn't pop up on my radar, but I think this is fascinating. Like, are you trying to be modern or classic? Like, what are you trying to do as a brand more than anything? Let me scroll over. Sorry about that. You know, subtle or obvious, right? Organic, geometric, right? So, like, what are you trying to do? It's not whether a logo is right or wrong. Is this doing the job you're trying to get it to do? Yeah, Leah, I'd say I agree with you, Leah. Leah says, you know, the colors are a bit meh. You know, I agree. I think the colors look kind of greasy, if you ask me. They seem very retro, but they can be kind of like feel not fresh. So if fresh is what they're going for, maybe not. But I thought this was like just a super cool post of like, you know what? What if you were creating this bird? What would it look like? Feminine versus masculine, mature versus young, and all those things. So let's kind of take a look at a couple others if you don't mind, folks. I'm so happy you're here today. Not to get into politics, Pfizer is not only in the news for other things, but also for updating their logo. Right, we can see right in here. We got a couple logos. Why do I not have this one bookmarked? Oh, yeah. So, yeah. Here's their new logo as well, sort of having this swoosh. So, and they also have a fun little video that brings these swooshes to life. Obviously, this has a lot of motion to it, which I think is interesting. Yeah, curious to see what you think. In other news as well, so hopefully you guys saw the link. All right, cool. Yeah, so I don't know. Like, this is the problem I have with anything like this. It's like I'm tempted to find a P or an F or something within those two curves, right? And they seem just very separate. It's hard to own a shape, you know, and it's like they're trying to be Nike. And it might work, seeing as they could have, you know, they could be around for 100 years, but that's what it seems like they're going for. They're trying to own those two shapes together. Okay, so a little tricky. Let's go on to other news. Let me just show you some, you know, brands that have updated. Is that all right? We also have CIA, Central Intelligence Agency, here in the U.S. They went to this from this very bland Central Intelligence Agency with this eagle and this burst to, of course, something brand new, which is a very topographical, like map sort of situation. Yeah. So yeah, you guys can see it here. I'm actually just kind of pulling up some of that information as well, just really fast, just so you can see it. Yeah, let's switch over. The key thing is they're trying to be a little bit more diverse, especially with their branding for their website, which looks a lot like this. We are the nation's first line of defense. We are very black. We are very white. We have diversity in here. We have a new logo, right? With a bunch of swooshes and lines. I don't know if these lines actually mean anything, but also kind of interesting. It's very much like a Mutech poster. So that's actually just a different brand, which I think is pretty interesting. So yeah, kind of curious to see what you think. Such a departure, especially for a government agency, if you ask me. So in other news, let's go with one more brand. Can we do this one more time? Let's do last one. Yeah, does the CIA need a logo? Will they sell us a t-shirt? Yeah, why do they need a logo? Good point. Like, what's the big deal there? Next up, we have Kia. So Kia updated their logo. You see the old one on the left and the new one on the right. And, or actually, depending on how you're looking at it, it would be old one on your left, new one on the right. Kia. I see KN more than anything. I think the I gets a little lost. Curious to see what you guys think. So yeah, we'll see it in action, of course, and you heard about it here first. Kia's updating their brand. I'm all for simplicity, by the way. Andrea, some reverb mic, right? So like, if you could eliminate something like, guess what? Maybe it doesn't need that circle. What's the circle there for? Well, ultimately it was there to kind of ground the three letters. But if you can go for simplicity and remove, you know, less is more. But they're trying to become an icon for change, just so you know. And you guys get the idea. Cool. I see KN as well. Thank you, Susan. So I'm not going crazy. I'm not going crazy. All right. Also in other news, not that I have a slide for it, but I think Apple is interested in having Hyundai build an electric car for them. So wish I had a slide on that. We'll see how that pans out. All right. Okay. Yeah, and that's a good point. Be sure the new logo isn't recognizable anymore, though. Currently not now. Like, honestly, it's just like, let's see if these stand the test of time, right? One thing I think a logo needs to do is just be recognizable, like you mentioned. So that's important. All right, I'm so excited about this next one. You ready for this, folks? Because we have something super cool in news, which is the fact that we have an Illustrator update. Why did I save this? Why didn't I lead with this one, huh? But Illustrator has an update as well, which is super exciting. In fact, I'm going to show it to you right now, so I'm so glad you guys are here. Go ahead and you might need to say, for instance, restart your Creative Cloud desktop app, but this update updated recently. We have Illustrator version 25.1. Let's scroll over. What does it say? Oh, this update introduces radial grid and mirror repeat features, which were available on the iPad, and now they're available on the desktop. So let's jump in there and see what that looks like. New toys, new things. Let's move this off to the side, right? So we'll jump in here. I'll just grab, again, just something simple. Let's grab this triangle. Why not? Let's make it a fun color. Paul, I think you can hopefully be more interesting than that. Or not. I don't know. Yeah, let's make it pink. Hot pink, folks. But we can jump in here. We can say, you know, I want this to kind of spread around, do a radial gradient. So it's going to be sort of spread around a circle. We'll go to object right here, repeat, and there they are. Radial repeat. We have grid, radial, and then mirror. Yeah. All right. So I agree, Ed, by the way, the CIA logo. It's like, what are you trying to do? It's not going to hold up when it's small. You got to think about what does CI do? Like, think about when things are printed and all that stuff. Anyways, let's go to radial. Boom. There we are. Oh, thank you very much. Little guy, I see you. Right? And just like on the iPad, we can go ahead and adjust accordingly. Expand it out, increase the number of those fun little spikes as we see. We can say, hey, let's make this sun look like it's just rising. So we're going to cut it. So it's coming out of the ocean, only on the top part. Maybe it's somebody's hair. You guys get the idea. and you can obviously see what you can do with it. Rotate it around. By the way, when I jump in, we want to change this. Yeah, we can of course change it as well. As you can see, let's throw a gradient in there. It changes it for all of them. Isn't this exciting? Cool. There we are, radial repeat. Isn't that nice? Again, I didn't make anything too crazy with this. Please forgive me for that. But we can see as I adjust this one, it changes it for all of them. Let's bring them in. Boom. And there we have sort of a lovely sort of a star type shape that we can work with. Okay, nothing too crazy going on here. Of course, we can do that with a number of things. We not only have the radial, but if we take a look under object, go down to repeat, we have grid, and then we have mirror. Mirror is really straightforward, but we can go into grid, and guess what? This looks very much like XD. Just like a key point, just to kind of keep in mind, is we have features that hit certain products, and then like everybody's like, oh, I want this in X program as well. Oh, I want this in Illustrator or Photoshop. You know, and this is clearly a case for that as well. But we can see this repeat. So keep this in mind. A lot of people will, go in and then they'll do their duplicate. Some people like have a circle and they'll hold down the option and shift and drag it over like that and Command D. Yeah, you could still do that. But what this means now is like, you know what? Maybe I could just select this, and will it make more sense to do grid repeat? And now we have that duplicate and then down. And of course, what this gives me the power to do is jump in and then change it later on if I decide to, say, change the gradient to something else. Okay, so kind of keep that in mind in case you're doing the duplicate, Command D. You now have this ability as well. And of course, if you're drawing something or whatever the case may be, let's do this fun line. Let's make it a different color. I don't know, folks. What am I even making? You will find out in a second, but we obviously know what mirror does as well. When it comes to mirror, you think that like it could just go sort of like left, right, but you can grab this, rotate it, and have this go horizontally as well. So now we can have this sort of intersect any way we want. As you can see, I'm adjusting this, and again, we can bring it back up so it's vertical, right? Like so. You guys get the idea. Cool. Cool. Alrighty. Yeah, so you can go ahead and break it apart too. So that's a good point, Rob. You could always do that. Just gonna go ahead and right up here, expand appearance. That's what you do if you want to go ahead and break it apart. Adobe's magic. All right. Yeah, you guys heard it here first. Tell your friends, tell everyone. All you need to do is update Illustrator, and now you have new toys, which is super fun. All right, now we're going to switch gears and dive into what's new from the community. You Fun Creative. All right, hopefully that music wasn't too loud, but welcome back. There's a ton of new creative kind of coming from all over, just so you know. But I'm just gonna highlight a few, just a couple, if you don't mind. I try to give a good sort of you know, overall sort of swath of what's coming from the community. Let's go ahead and share screens, shall I? All right, Anthony, what's up? So that music was loud, wasn't it? I gotta crank it down. I'm sorry, Rob. I didn't mean to hurt anybody's ears, but I apologize. Let's take a look at Mike Campau. which you could see his work. He's from Michigan. He's here in the U.S., but unboxing memories. So he went through and created these awesome, and I guess why I like it is how nostalgic it is, right? You can see his photography right in here. And yeah, it's very nostalgic for me. I don't know if anybody here remembers any of this stuff, right? Can we talk about all of it, by the way? Can we? Can we please? Can we talk about this guy? I just got up and left, but I'm back now. Can we talk about this little guy right here too? Boop. He-Man, right? Shown obviously in the photo. Boop. We have one right here. Very nostalgic, of course. Rubik's Cube. Roller skates. We have a football digital game. We have Transformers, Thundercats. I don't know. I'm just into it. Dukes of Hazzard. There we are. Right? Voltron. Look at Voltron in the back. I don't know. I'm all about it. Mad Magazine. Highlights. Highlights and high tops. All right. So that's super fun. He-Man. That's right. You can see a number of these composites that he did. In fact, we can get into sort of like nostalgic food items as well. Peanut butter Captain Crunch, is that still a thing? Look at these. Look at this. Look at how hard is it to find some of these. New Coke. Remember Jolt Cola? Yeah, so Voltron was on the lunchbox, just so you know. So Transformers, you're right. Optimus Prime there as well. Of course, we have yeah, all sorts of fun things. So anyways, you guys get the idea. I just think Mike's work is awesome. This is just one project that he recently posted, Mike Campau. We can check out his work right in here, and you can see all of his photography and composites that he does, which are pretty impressive. So yeah, it's really strong portfolio. Cool. I didn't mean to say that it's a composite. It probably was cleaned up, but it was a photograph. Sorry, I just used composite. I don't know why I said that word, but yeah, these are all photographs, right? No photography in this at all. So no photography to practice lighting and material setups. So this is 100% CGI. Did I just say it's a photograph? It's not, right? So again, 100% CGI. Isn't that impressive? And you can see through his work that it is a lot of CGI that actually looks very real, which is pretty darn impressive. So anyways, I just called it a photograph because he fooled me as well, but pretty cool. All right, Mike Campau, you are the man. We appreciate you. We can get into KAB. I just think it's interesting and fun to look when people post portfolios and projects that show the initial sketch, right, with all of the red lines, the perspective lines, and then we can see the digital sort of painting that gets finished. And this is from, as you can see right up here, KAB. This is KAB from Leo Chiola as well, and you can see his work. Let's actually click on it, and you can see everything that he makes. So again, cool, cool. Chinese New Year. We can go through this as well. Why not? I'm just trying to inspire you guys with, I'll do whatever it takes. I'll do animation. I'll bust out He-Man, right? I'll show you Chinese New Year, which is coming up. And you can see this 25-second animation with parallax scrolling. Fun little burst in the end right there. And you can see it's for C-Vision. Thank you for Carlota Notoro as well. So very cool. Anyways, send me your work, by the way. We'd love to see kind of what you have. Yeah, and just to keep the conversation going. Would love to see what you guys have for your work, and I'd love to highlight you guys. Is that okay? Cool. All right, we could look at portfolios all day long, but you know what? You could always get involved and have your work highlighted through the daily creative challenges. Post that work through good old Discord. So that's how we review that work. So that's what we do on a regular basis. As we can see right in here, if you got involved in the Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge, you can see the challenge, and also right in here, some of the work. So yeah, this is the place to get involved, is through good old Discord. Post your work, get it highlighted, but also I want to highlight you guys. So if that's okay, I'm going to switch gears and just kind of highlight somebody from the community. Since the audio is a little loud, I'm going to take it down a touch, and let's dive into this now. All right, and the community member I want to highlight, I don't know if she's here, but I want to highlight Michelle Saporito. Always so positive and does a good job just contributing, and is really kind to one another. So again, Michelle Saporito, hopefully she's not here. It doesn't look like she is here, but she's our community member that we want to highlight this week. Cool. Boop. Let's move that over. You can get an idea for her work. It's really not about her work. It's about her as a human being kind and supportive and awesome. But you can see Michelle and check out her work on Behance. Feel free to go ahead and follow her through Behance and appreciate her work. She does illustration. Her goal is to illustrate for children's books. And she deserves a little shout out. That's all, folks. Oh, she is here, Fairy. All right. Michelle is here. You are our community member of the week, and we appreciate you. So I'm just going to pause right there and say thank you. And that we appreciate you as a writer, illustrator, and human being, and just being amazing. So any chance we get to highlight you community members, we will, because it's about you guys, not about us, huh? Is that not the truth? Awesome. Nice cold coffee. All right, Michelle. Cool. So go ahead and click on her name, follow her, stalk her on social media. Just kidding. Don't make it weird, folks. But let her know that we appreciate her. We are moving through this quite well. I'm so happy for us. But also, I want to make sure that as we shift gears and also talk about free stuff. We didn't get through all of this last week, but I want you guys to be aware of all of the freebies that are available from various websites, right? We have stock.adobe.com/free. There's freebies from Chroma Supply if you want crazy artwork, which I thought that was pretty cool. There's also the nounproject.com. So I'm going to shift gears, and I'm kind of picking up where I left off last week, but here is the Noun Project, right? Icons and photos for everything. So we want to go ahead and, do a ship. There we have all these fun ships that we can go ahead and access. So here we are. I could okay, this one's cool. Let's take that one. Let's get this icon, create a free account. Of course, what's cool about this is why I like the Noun Project, is not only has a website, but Noun Project has its own little app. So you can kind of keep this running, right? And jump in here. So when you need a ship, there you go. Ahead, type that in, grab the ship that you want, as you can see right there, and use it. So we can copy it as SVG, PDF, PNG file. I'll copy it as a SVG, jump into good old Illustrator. Something weird's happening with my Illustrator. Why Illustrator? Wait for it, folks. Wait for it. All right, there we go. Get out of here. I had this running like all weekend. Anyways, you guys get the idea. There's our fun shape that we can work with. Okay, so I'm going to take this a step further. Ready for this? We'll go into, say, Photoshop. Speaking of free stuff, we now have plugins, a whole new plugins panel. You can browse plugins. We'll go to Browse, right? You can see a number of them right in here. What do we have? We have Pixel Squid. We have free stock searches as well. Not to take away from Adobe stock, but there's stock solo, there's free stock. There's a couple of different free stock websites where people, for whatever reason, upload their own, photos to basically give away. I don't know why, but let's open up the plugins panel. Here it is. Discover plugins. Install. And this will allow you to go ahead and it'll give you a panel for free stock search that you can go ahead and search on. So let's jump back in here. Looks like, I'm sorry, I have to activate this one and all that fun stuff. Oh no, everybody has my email address now. Yeah, you've had it for years. Here you go, right in here. So we'll search for ship, right? We'll search for photos. There it is. We could take that photo, download it, and use that in Photoshop. So free resources, why not? And of course, let's not forget about Adobe stock. And literally you can search for ship. I'm losing my mind. I should, where's the drop down? Am I losing my mind or where's the, there we go. Okay, for some reason. Okay, so right up here, Adobe stock. Search Adobe stock for ship. So the problem with any free assets is they're free for everyone. So you'll start seeing the same photos pop up over and over again, which doesn't bode well for you as a designer. You know, clients don't like seeing something you created for them, you know, in other places. But we can see, of course, Adobe stock right here. You guys get the idea. Cool. This is a cool ship, huh? It is cool. Sorry for my moire shirt. Right. All right. Let's move on, folks. I start singing because I'm stalling. Because my file broke. All right. You know what's funny is I think I actually updated Illustrator while it was open. Is that what happened? I do not know. Either way, I'm going to relaunch it because I want to get into a little Q&A. And today we're going to focus on Illustrator, if that works for you. Awesome. So let's shift gears and dive into what we have for a little Q&A. Again, we like to make sure we're answering questions from the community. So let's do this. All right, welcome back, everybody. So you can go to community.adobe.com. Also, all those fun Discord channels that we have as well. All these fun Discord channels is a great place to get involved. So I'm setting up something, and I'm actually going to do a quiz for everyone. All right, here we go. Here's your quiz. Q&A, let's dive into it. We can see right in here. we have this like K and B. So this is a question that somebody had through the forums. They were like, hey, I have these letters selected. I want to fill them. I want to fill them with red. Click OK. Why don't they fill? Why isn't this filled with red? Anyone? Anyone? I'll give you a second. Dorina, definitely watch the stream later. Ooh, Steven, that's a great call. Thank you, Tim, for posting that as well. So this is the issue. Somebody's like, oh, I'm trying to change this color. I can't. Like, what is it? The color that I'm picking? Let's try to make it green. What's the situation? What's going on here? Do I need to bust out the paint bucket? Right? The issue is King Burger. It's because I think they actually like outlined the stroke. So even though it looks like it has a fill, yes, the lines need to be a stroke, right? Because what happens right in here? In fact, a good way just to kind of like troubleshoot a file, Command Y, and now you can see, oh, these outlines. View it in outline mode, and now you can see, oh, you know what? This is why it's messed up, is because the filled object is actually this line right in here and not necessarily this shape. So you get the idea. Command Y is a good way to kind of troubleshoot things. Do that, see what's going on. But to answer the question here is like, hey, could you go ahead and, you know, fill it? And you can use something like the live paint bucket, right? And click inside of there with the live paint bucket. Let's go over here, click like so. And now we've filled those two areas using that live paint bucket. Keep in mind, once you do that, you have to go ahead and expand it. Shablam! Right? Once we expand it, now we can kind of move these pieces around or separate them out. You can see what that looks like right there. Cool. King Burger. Hey, good job, Paul. Good job on creating something that looks kind of ugly. Yeah, that happened, right? What I would do is I would jump in and I would just like recolor artwork. Let's do that. Let's try some different colors right in here. In fact, let's take this. Let's go pink. And for the black needs to change as well. There we go. Boop. So sometimes you'll move these. You need to increase, like, say, the brightness. But let's unlock that. Let's take this. Let's take this down to just 2 colors, right? And I want this to be sort of a pink. And then... yeah, I'm not winning the color game today. I'm not gonna lie. It needs work. Okay, so that's a little better. Sure, why not? Okay, you guys get it. All right. Help me. This is for Kara Butler. Everybody, we're making Kara Butler a fun little logo. By the way, another thing that's rarely gets used. Let's ungroup these. Let's take... oop. Ungroup. Geez, how many groups are going on here? Ungroup. Right? We could actually see how grouped it is using my layers panel. There we go. Finally. Yeah, there's a lot going on in here. Cool. All right. Let's move on. This is for Kara Butler. I know I need to work on your logo. Please forgive me. It's pretty darn bad in terms of the colors, but I really think it's just this one that we need to kind of adjust. So let's unlink it. Let's crank it over here. Let's make sure it's a pure color. And that's looking better already. Okay, cool. We did it. All right. I want to get into some other things as well, since we're talking about sort of talking about questions that people have, right? So these are just things that have been submitted, but I also want to get into pro tips. I have about 9 minutes to kind of get into some of these. And again, I would actually, this needs still like a lot more work, right? We know that it does. This definitely does. I just can't help myself. Most people think by the way, in Illustrator, just be aware of the appearance panel. Come down here. You know what? You want to give it another stroke? Add another stroke right there. From here, we'll go ahead and give it a pink stroke like so, right? And now we have that additional stroke that we could always put on the outside. So taking that, let's put it on the outside. There it is. And now we get this fun look. So we could start stacking strokes on top of strokes on top of strokes. It doesn't have to be, guess what? Command Y. It doesn't have to be another shape. Same shape. And we can see that we have a sort of a whole different look. Let's take this one, do that one more time. In fact, let's hit I. Let's sample that one. Boom, there it is. Now we have those two matching. You guys get the idea. That wasn't even what I was going to show for pro tips, but you trust me, the appearance panel is your friend because it can make something seemingly simple, very complex, very fast. Right? Let's move on. In fact, we can see what I've done here even with graphic styles. Let's do this really fast. Taking somebody else's name, let's take the text tool. NB for Nushin. Bayan, I see you there. Let's crank this up. Bam. NB, little larger. Right. And what we'll do right here is we'll go ahead and apply this graphic style, which I already had pre-baked. I just have a couple of them right in here. And what did we do? We created this fun type, sort of like lockup, with all these fun textures and everything. How is this done? Well, guess what? It's the appearance panel. Appearance panel, sure enough, has different fills and different strokes, all on those two letters, and it's editable as well. All right. Yeah, so Darina, it does work better. This works better as well. Let's do KB in the same fashion. KB, boom, there we are. Right, here's a question for you. You ready? I'm so glad I'm going to do 2 tips really fast. Okay, so let's get rid of this. We have KB, we have NB. Welcome, good to have you here. But what if we wanted, say for instance, these strokes thicker, right? How would we do that? Right? How do we thicken up the strokes? Right? Do we have to go through all these strokes and increase them? Multiply them by 2 or whatever? Well, this is what I would do. This is my pro tip. Selecting this, go into Illustrator, go into Preferences. This, if we take a look, we can scale these strokes and effects. I would turn that off. Go ahead and turn off scaling the strokes and effects. Shrink it down. Remember, I want to make it twice its size. I could shrink it down, right? I want all those lines thicker, right? We can see those lines are thicker. Shrink it down. It did not scale the strokes and effects. But now when I scale it back up, we want to turn this back on. Scale strokes and effects. Now when I scale it back up to its original size, right, we can see these lines are thicker than the NB lines, right? Does that make sense? All through Preferences, you turn off scaling, so don't scale the lines, you shrink it down, and then you scale them when you scale it back up, right? All right. How are these presets saved? What sort of magic is this? That's for another day. Yeah, all this is done without any sort of 3D extrude or anything. All right. I got 5 minutes. I think this is going to be fun for me to kind of shift gears into Photoshop, by the way, because we've had some fun in Illustrator. Right, let's move on to Photoshop. I apologize. Some of this is already set up, right? It's already set up. and I need to kind of undo some of this madness. All right. Here we have this hand, okay? So what I want to do for this hand is I just kind of want to like chop off the finger. Not to be morbid, but oh, shoot. There we go. Not to be morbid, but I want to chop off this finger. So some people will jump in and they'll like, okay, do a layer mask, and maybe they'll use a selection tool and they'll go like this, zoop, 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 right? And mask it, boom. And they're like, oh, this needs to be smoother. It needs to be adjusted. It's not nice and smooth. In fact, what I want to use, I want to use the pen tool. So some people use the pen tool, right? So you jump in there, you use the pen tool, you're like, pop, pop. Oh yeah, nice and smooth like that, right? So they'll do something like this, okay? And then like make a selection out of that path, and then they'll mask it based on that selection. But that is, like, once it is a layer mask, this is gonna be pixel based, right? So it's not as adjustable. So if you wanna change it later, it's an issue, right? Again, we're getting into pro tips, and thank you so much for joining me. I'm gonna instead delete that layer mask. I'm gonna go in there with the pen tool, and this time I'm gonna go rather than doing that crazy selection, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go right up here to layer, to vector mask. And right in here, we're gonna create a mask based on the current path that I've just drawn, right? You ready for this? Current path, boom, there it is, right? Let's invert it, by the way. Oh, no, cancel. Hold on. Come on, Paul. Get your act together. I need to invert this mask. Let's do that one more time. I'm going to do vector mask. I'm going to do current path. I'm going to hold down Option. I'm going to click OK. Either way, the short of it is we now have this vector path that we can then go ahead and adjust. So right in here, we can use this direct selection tool. Since this is a vector path, I can always adjust it later on. So anyways, I just was turning you guys on to vector paths. That's all. Right? So that's what I'm doing. Do like that. Yeah. I need to know how to invert this now. I apologize. I could have swore I was doing this the other day. I clearly was doing this the other day because I did this much of it, right? So again, now we have all these fun phalanges chopped off. Yeah, it's morbid, but you can kind of see how this is done using all of these lovely vector masks, which means we can adjust them later on. You guys get the idea. From the properties panel. Boop. Yeah, for some reason it's not. I know, it should be like invert. Let me go ahead and select it. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why it's not highlighted for me in the properties panel, but yeah. All right, you guys get the idea. Very Dahmer-ish of me. Man, I'm not morbid, I swear. But that's it for my time. I'll work on this some more. I'm going to post it to social media, and hopefully it's pretty cool. That's the whole goal. But hopefully you guys appreciated this. Wanted to kind of show you tips, highlight some awesome people like Michelle, and let you know about our all-stars that are going to be here this week. One of our all-stars is Voodoo Val, so she's up next. Super excited for her. Control-Shift-I. I swear, Reverb Mike, I was hitting that. Ooh, I wasn't doing Control-Shift. This is going to puzzle me for a bit. But thank you, Michelle. You're awesome. Appreciate everybody here. And thank you so much for wonderful morning. Let's make it a fantastic week. Go ahead and, be kind to one another. That's how you win in life in the long run. And I'm so thankful for you and all you guys do for us and the community and everything. Let's stick together. Go give somebody a hug. Why not? Thank you, Susan, Lorraine, Afroja, Emma, Kara, Butler. I'll finish your logo in the meantime. And thanks so much, everybody. Stick around for Voodoo Val. She is up next. Thanks so much, everybody. We'll see you soon.